Saudi's Prince Mohammed bin Salman announces bilateral projects with Europe and all eyes on GCC banks ahead of tonight's Fed rate hike. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has announced upcoming bilateral projects during his visit to Greece, but details have yet to be revealed. One is an undersea data cable that will connect Europe with Asia. Another could link their power grids to supply Europe with cheaper green energy. The Greek Foreign Ministry says agreements on maritime transport, energy and defense technology are among others due to be signed today. Prince Mohammed will also travel to France as part of the Europe trip. The Federal Reserve is set to announce another big interest rate hike tonight, the fourth this year. It's expected to come in at 0.75 percentage point. In the GCC, all eyes will be on central banks as they often raise rates to mirror U.S. interest rate hikes. U.S. central bankers are hoping that their aggressive stance will start to cool red-hot inflation that topped 9% in June, the highest in more than 40 years, without derailing the economy. Credit Suisse posted a $1.65 billion Q2 loss today, badly missing market expectations as it announced the departure of its chief executive. Analysts had expected a net loss of $214.2 million, according to a consensus of 19 estimates compiled by the lender. Credit Suisse says its results are disappointing, especially in the investment bank, and were also impacted by higher litigation provisions and other adjusting items. Meanwhile, the bank replaced embattled CEO Thomas Gottstein with a new CEO, Ulrich Coroner. Microsoft saw Q4 revenue of $51.86 billion, up 12% compared to Q4 2021. However, the tech giant missed its own reduced expectations, citing evolving macroeconomic conditions and other unforeseen items for these results. Microsoft posted profit of $16.7 billion, up 14%. It saw operating income reach $20.5 billion, up 7%. It says reductions in advertising spend negatively impact LinkedIn, as well as search and news advertising revenue. All production shutdowns and slowdowns of PCs in China and scaled down operations in Russia also impacted results. Google parent Alphabet posted quarterly sales close to Wall Street target, sending shares up on relief that the world's biggest seller of online ads avoided the deep disappointment of rivals, including Snap. Alphabet reported second quarter revenue of $69.69 billion, up 13% year on year. Sales from Google's search ad business actually topped expectations, while revenue from YouTube ads, cloud computing, and Alphabet's Other Bets unit all came in lower than expected. Shares of Alphabet closed up 2.3% in after-hours trade. Mercedes-Benz expects significantly higher revenues and slightly higher earnings this year, as it saw an 8% rise in its adjusted earnings in Q2 to $4.97 billion. The luxury car maker saw an adjusted return on sales of 14.2% in the Mercedes-Benz Cars division, up from 12.8% in Q2 2021. Looking forward, it raised its expected adjusted earnings margin for its Cars division in the second half to 12 to 14% from 11.5% to 13% previously. And finally, Saudi architects say the trend for newly built projects across Riyadh is design that's inviting rather than imposing. The beige, nearly windowless facades that were sealed off from the outside world are now being opened up to feature street-facing patios, exterior walls of limestone, and soft lighting in entryways. Whereas in the past, most houses featured separate reception areas with different entrances for men and women, newer floor plans envision everyone commingling in a single area. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching.